This is Mrs. Wainwright's math class, Chapter 1, Lessons 11 and 12, Part A. We're going to be doing the P of PEMDAS. And as Mrs. Stanley says it, we remember these by parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my, parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my. Our learning target, by the end of today's lesson, you should confidently be able to say, I can use the proper order of operations when solving with parentheses, brackets, and braces. Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! Sometimes a math problem has various types of grouping symbols, like this. Oh my, alright, I see this problem and it looks really hard. But don't worry. If you follow the steps I teach you in this lesson, it's actually a fairly simple problem. The thing you need to remember is that if you see various grouping symbols, you must solve them in this order. Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! Parentheses, I think we know, are the curved things that go around something. Brackets are almost like rectangular, like open rectangles. And braces, I think about braces on the teeth, how they're kind of all bumpy. So that's how I remember braces. They're lines that are all bumpy. So let's go ahead and try and solve this problem. And again, we're going to follow the necessary order, which is parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! So again, in this problem, we have all sorts of grouping symbols. I color-coded them for this problem to just make it stand out, but normally they wouldn't be color-coded. But anytime I see more than one type of grouping symbol, I automatically stop and say, parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! And as I'm saying it, I write it down on the left side. Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! I have them written down vertically to help me remember how to solve this problem. So since my first step is parentheses, I'll circle all of the problems within the parentheses. I see 5 minus 2 and 2 plus 4. Take the time to circle them. The steps I'm showing you work. They make it a simple problem. I've been doing this for a lot of years, and so often kids get too big for their britches and say, oh, I don't need to follow those steps, and 90% of the time the answers are wrong. But when you solve it this way, 90% of the time the answers are correct. So, we circle the problems in parentheses, and underneath it we write the answer to the circled problem. So 5 minus 2 is 3, 2 plus 4 is 6. The next and very important step is we take everything else that wasn't already solved and recopy it right underneath. So I see 4 times brace. I'm not always so good at writing the perfect brace, so I just make a squiggly line. Bracket, which is kind of like the open rectangle. My 3 is already there. Times sign, 3, bracket, plus, bracket, my 6 is already there, times sign, 2, bracket, and brace. So I solved my parentheses step. What's my next step? Brackets. I circle all of the problems within the brackets. I have 3 times 3 and 6 times 2. I solve and write the answer underneath the circle. 3 times 3 is 9, 6 times 2 is 12. Again, write everything else that you have not solved down underneath. So I bring down my 4, I bring down my times sign, I bring down my brace, I add a plus sign, and I bring down my brace. I'm ready for my next step, which is braces, and I have them. So I'm going to circle my braces and everything inside. There we go, 9 plus 12 equals 21. Bring everything else down. Bring down my 4, bring down my times sign. I finished with my braces, and now I'm at the oh my step. And oh my means it's your last step. You'll get your answer when you solve the oh my step. So you should have one problem left, and you're going to say 4 times 21. I don't know that by heart, so I'll use this little scrap paper on the side. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So 4 times 21 is 84, and this will be my final answer to this problem. So we see a problem with parentheses, brackets, braces. We do parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my, on the left-hand side. We do step by step. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 1 right now. Let's take a look at problem number 2. Oh my, this looks like a big problem. And I see various types of grouping symbols. Well, as soon as I see more than one type of grouping symbol, I'm going to say parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my. And then I'm going to write those down. Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my. This reminds me of the steps of solving my problem. Okay, so my first step is parentheses. I have to find anything in parentheses and circle the entire parenthesis problem. See, my first parentheses is 3 times 2. The next one is 6 minus 4. I go ahead and solve and write the answer underneath. 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 minus 4 equals 2. I'm done with parentheses. Now I'll copy everything else down. 32 divided by brace, bracket, plus 7, bracket, minus, bracket, plus 7, bracket, and braces. Now we can solve my next step, which is brackets. Circle everything within the brackets. I have a 6 plus 7 and a 2 plus 7 in brackets. So let's go ahead and solve what I circled. 6 plus 7 equals 13. 2 plus 7 equals 9. We write everything underneath. 32 divided by braces. I already solved my circle. Minus sign, I already solved my circle. And braces. I'm ready for my next step, which is braces, and I do see braces here, so I'll circle the braces and everything inside. Solve for my circle, and 13 minus 9 equals 4. Bring down everything else that I did not yet circle, which is 32 divided by. Now I'm up to my oh my step, which is great because this should be one of my last steps, so I will circle 32 divided by 4, and 32 divided by 4 is 8. So my final answer for this problem is 8. When you follow parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my, you're breaking this problem up into small, simple problems, and it actually makes it very easy if you follow these steps. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 2 right now. Let's take a look at problem number 3, a word problem. Mary's weekly allowance is $8, and David's weekly allowance is $5. Every week, they each spend $2 on lunch. Write a numerical expression to show how many weeks it will take them together to save enough money to buy a $45 video game. So I need to figure out how much money Mary will be able to save each week first. So I'm going to put an M for Mary, just to remind myself. And I know that she gets $8 allowance, but she spends $2 for lunch. So I have to say $8 minus $2. And I'll put that in parentheses because that's what we need to do just to figure out how much money Mary has each week. Now let's figure out how much money David can put toward it each week. Well, D for David. David gets $5 for allowance each week, but he spends $2 on lunch, so we have to take that $2 away to see how much he'll have for his video game. We put that in parentheses because we'll have to solve just that problem to see how much money David has to spend. Now we know they're going to put their money together. So when we figure out how much Mary has and how much David has, we can add those together to see how much they have all together to spend. So I'm going to put some brackets around that. I know if the video game costs $45, I can take that $45 and I can divide it by how much Mary and David spend each week. That will tell me how many weeks it will take them to save up the money for the video game. So I'm ready to solve my problem. But before I solve this problem, I do see that I have more than one grouping. Therefore, I have to follow parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my, parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my. So I write them down to show me my steps. Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my. Now I'm ready to solve my problem. So I know I'm going to do the parentheses step first. I circle everything I see in the parentheses. I see $8 minus $2 and $5 minus $2 in parentheses. Solve what you circled. $8 minus $2 is $6. $5 minus $2 is $3. Write everything else down, copy it underneath. I have my dollar sign, my 45, division sign, my bracket, addition sign, and bracket. I'm ready for my next step, which is brackets. Circle everything inside brackets. Solve it. $6 plus $3 equals $9. Bring everything else down. My dollar sign, my 45, the division sign, and that's all that I have to bring down. I'm ready for my next step, which is braces. Oh, but I don't see any braces. That's okay. Sometimes there will be none. I have none. Which means I'm ready for my next step. Oh my. Circle and solve. $45 divided by $9. Well, 45 divided by 9 equals 5. When you do a division problem, if there are two dollar signs in both the dividend and divisor, they cancel each other out. So it's 5. This is a word problem. I needed a word in my answer, so let's go back to the problem and see what my unit should be. The question asks how many weeks it will take them together to save enough money to buy a $45 video game. Well, it wants to know how many weeks, so my answer will be 5 weeks. And this is the final answer to the problem. It takes Mary and David 5 weeks to save enough money to buy a $45 video game. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 3. And our last question, question number 4, is also a word problem. John gets $6 for his weekly allowance and spends 4 of it. His sister Tina gets $7 for her weekly allowance and spends $3 of it. Their mother's birthday is in 4 weeks. If they spend the same amount of money each week, how much money can they save together in that time to buy her a present? First, I'm going to underline my question. I find my question mark and I go all the way back to the questioning word, which is, how much money can they save together in that time to buy her a present? Then I'm going to go back to the problem to see what they told me. So I know that John gets $6, but he spends $4 of it. I also know that Tina gets $7, and she spends $3 of it each week. I know that Mom's birthday is in 4 weeks, and they're going to spend the same amount each week. We want to know how much money they can save in that time, in that 4 weeks, to buy her a present. So let's set ourselves up. Let's see how much John has. Well, put a J for John. John gets $6, but he spends 4. So we have the 6, take away the 4 that he spends, put that in parentheses because that problem will let us know how much John has each week towards this gift. The next person is Tina, so I'll put a T. Tina gets $7, but she spends $3. So I take away the $3 that she spends. I put that problem in parentheses because when I solve it, I'll know how much Tina has to spend each week. I know that they'll be putting their money together, so I'll add how much they each have to spend. If I want to figure out the total amount they have to spend, I'll have to solve everything inside these brackets. So inside the brackets is how much John and Tina will have to spend each week, but I know they have more than 1 week to save up for this gift. They have 4 weeks. So if they spend this same amount every single week, we can multiply this times the 4 weeks that they have to save, and that's how much money they'll have at the end of the 4 weeks. So I'm ready to solve my problem. It's all set up, but I see that there's more than one grouping symbol. Anytime I see there's more than one grouping symbol, what do I say? Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! And I write them down on top of each other. Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! So my setup is complete and I'm ready to solve. Parentheses comes first, so circle all problems within the parentheses. Solve what I circled. $6 minus $4 equals $2. $7 minus $3 equals $4. I'm done with parentheses. I have to write down everything that's still there. So I'll bring down bracket, plus sign, bracket, times 4. Circle anything that's inside brackets, and here we go. $2 plus $4. Let's solve that. $2 plus $4 is $6. We write it under the circle. Bring down everything else that we have, which is times 4. I'm up to braces. Oh, but I don't see any braces. That's okay. There are none. If there are no braces, I move on to oh my, circle my last part, and solve. $6 times 4 equals $24. My question says, how much money can they save together in that time to buy her a present? They want to know how much money, and $24 does have the unit in it with the dollar sign. So my final answer, they'll have $24 to buy that present for Mom at the end of 4 weeks. Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 4. So as a review for this lesson, sometimes a math problem has various types of grouping symbols, like this problem we see right here. You must solve them in this order. Ready? Say it with me. Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! Parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my! And in order to solve this, we copy our problem. We write down our parentheses, brackets, and braces, oh my, on the left side. We circle all of the problems in parentheses. Solve and write the answer underneath the circle. Then we copy everything else down. Move on to our next step, which is brackets. Circle everything in brackets. Solve for the circles and write the answers underneath. Recopy everything that wasn't in the circles. And move on to our next step, which is braces. We have braces, so we circle everything within the braces, solve, and write our answer underneath. Recopy everything that's not within the circle. Move on to our next step, which is oh my. Circle the problem that we have, solve, and write our answer underneath. And when all we have left is an answer and there's nothing else left to solve, that's our final answer. Make sure you follow all of these steps because they will help you solve these rather easy problems. Good luck with the lesson.